So now, Christopher Gucci, you have stirred the pot, have you, yesterday
a little bit.
with your assessment on one Jimmy James Butler, okay, and saying that he's not a top 10 player in the NBA right now. Preface. He's redrafting. I mean, you can go over your rules. Like, this is like, people are going to look at this list and say, hold on, hold on.
I made two kind of lists because this is a very, very difficult conversation to have based on the criteria that everybody's trying to throw my way. So I came up with kind of two criterias here. One being that, and this is part of the point that I was trying to articulate to Kyle yesterday, but since I was being ganged up on, I felt very uncomfortable, mind you. But no, Kyle, when I said something about the public, like the public would even agree with me. What I was really trying to say is,
what I really meant to
forget about the fan public. I'm talking about let's look at the NBA execs. If you took 30 NBA execs and you put them in a redraft situation, they're not taking Jimmy Butler in the top 10. And you can make your case about how defenses. Yeah, guess what? The NBA execs typically don't care about defense when they're drafting
scoring.
They're looking for role players to play defense. Stars, not so much. And that's just the way it has been for a really long time in the league. Now, all that said, I'm going to make my picks here. List number one is this is a redraft.
We will go to the comments after he's done doing his list because we don't want to be distracted.
So redraft, and this is a redraft, NBA redraft, and I'm seeing all these rules about like, well, injury and clutchness. Like that's factored into everything.
Correct.
Obviously, that's what you do. But now there's two things that we have to separate here. If it's a redraft and we're basing it on age, that eliminates a lot of guys. I hate to bring this to your attention, but that probably also eliminates a Jimmy Butler from anywhere near the top 10, 15. That's just saying that. So I'm going to go through that first. And then when we want to start bringing in the vets and the guys that might be coming off of an injury that might not be that real, Dame, and another guy with an injury like Kawhi, we could start having real conversations. But as of the youth factor, as of now,
so you are redrafting. Okay.
This is off the top of my head. This isn't like, not off the top of my head, but this is just not in any specific order. I will go in order. Giannis 1, Luka 2.
That was quick.
Tatum 3, right? Giannis, Luka, Tatum 3. And then I'm going Joker 4, Embiid 5. And now we start having a real conversation. Guess who's not in that conversation? Jimmy Butler, right? At this point now, we want to start factoring in like these are like the best top guys under 25. Then we talk about Devin Booker. He's 24 years old. It's hard to take a guy that's in his mid 30s or 32. What is Butler? 32?
Mm-hmm.
Hard to take Jimmy Butler over a guy that's 8 years younger than him and has had playoff success, right? Then we're talking about Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, Karl Anthony Towns. And now everybody wants to talk shit about Ja Morant, but last week there wasn't a single person outside of Kyle Kerms that would have said, I'll take Jimmy Butler over Ja Morant. Not a single fucking one of you would have done that until we pointed out that stat that nobody knew about until Kyle wrote it in the fucking comments. Am I wrong about this? No. Dave would have taken him. You would have taken him. Kyle's the only one.
I would.
All right. So I don't know how many people I named. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 10. We got Ja Morant. I'll even take Ball over him.
So
I'll take Brandon Ingram. I'll take Jaylen Brown. I'll take SGA.
We got to flip this on its ear because we're not redrafting anymore. Now you're telling me who the top 10 players in the NBA are. So now the
top 10 players in
going into next year.
Going into next year.
2023.
So basically,
Ryan's like, start the list over. He is right now.
So basically,
because I have mine too, by the way.
The first 7 guys that I'll name right here: Steph, Giannis, Luka, Tatum, Booker, Jokic, Embiid. That's 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ryan is saying that he puts Jimmy Butler at 7. Make the case to put Jimmy Butler above any of those guys. You can't. You just simply can't. I'm sorry, you can't. You could maybe argue the Booker thing. Maybe argue it, possibly, but I'm not. I'm here to say Booker over Butler. And I'm a Jimmy Butler fan. Then after that, since we're talking about that's all the guys that I would say are guaranteed. Now you're telling me that Jimmy Butler is a better player this season than LeBron James?
Crickets. I don't know.
Are we fucking kidding me here? If you took Jimmy Butler and you put him on the Lakers, they're the same team. You put LeBron James on the Heat, they're probably also the same team, but probably better and like more of a guarantee that they're going to go to the NBA Finals. Right? LeBron has missed the NBA playoffs how many times in his career? We're talking about consistency. How many times?
Last
2, 1. If that, 2.
Okay.
Right? Then we got KD. Then we got Dame. We got Kawhi Leonard. We got Kyrie. We got Jimmy Butler. Then comes in at like 19.
Jesus Christ. I'm going to show my list for casual Dave list. Like, I'm a Knicks fan at heart. Love my Knicks. Not as versed in the NBA as Kyle or even Gooch for that matter. This is based off of me watching the game with what you want to go nuts right now? What's
well,
happening?
He's saying something about LeBron James and not playing good defensively this year, and they're 30th in the NBA in interior defensive efficiency. So
and Ryan coming in saying we're talking about going into next year, not what they did 3 years ago.
Okay, so going into next year, how old is Jimmy Butler going to be next year? And what are we talking about 3 years ago?
Here we go. Number one for casual Dave.
KD stepped on the line last year.
Giannis is the best player in the world. That's what I think. He's number one, right? Then two, when healthy, going into next year, which you would assume all health is considered, Kevin Durant is probably the number 2 player in the league. And this is just me. I'm just a guy watching from the outside who's also a big time hater on this like group of NBA style play. I'm a 90s dude, right? So like I look at this list and I'm just like, these guys are still those
Jimmy
dudes.
Butler is the same age as Steph, and Steph Curry has multiple first-team All-NBA teams, multiple championships. Stop.
Number 3.
It's not a debate.
Luka, right? Number 4, the Joker. Guys won back-to-back MVPs. He belongs in the top 5. Number 5, and I don't like this guy at all, LeBron James. Going into next year, LeBron James is still going to be a top 5 player in the league. And you can't, there's not much to debate anymore. LeBron still is LeBron. And just because he's surrounded by a bunch of fake super teams, LeBron's still great. He's still great.
It's just still crazy to me that people are acting like any one of them had Jimmy Butler.
Number 6, Joel Embiid. Beast, right? Absolute beast. Number 7 on my list, Steph Curry. And you know there's no bigger hater than Steph Curry than me. I'll put him in this number 7 all-world player right now. Number 8, Dame Dollar. Damian Lillard is my guy. I love Dame, right? Number 9, Tatum. And number 10, Jimmy Butler. For argument's sake, I just put him there. There's other guys. There's Kawhi. There's Kawhi Leonard. There's John Morant. There's Booker. There's Mitchell.
You're starting to see my point, and everybody's saying we're not talking about this. It's like, well, then that's your fucking list. But my list is like, it's hard to kind of dictate what the criteria is. Are we talking all defensive lists? Then I'll change my list. But if we're talking all around and how NBA execs would view players going into next year, a 32, 33-year-old Jimmy Butler isn't there.
James Rube's and that's disrespecting of AD.
Look, I'm only disrespecting AD, and I have AD's name right here, but I'm just like pumping my brakes because of these comment section. It has such crazy recency bias, and AD can't stay healthy, and that's like every year. So I leave him off because of that, but we're talking about the efficiency of the Lakers' interior defense. What the fuck does that have to do with LeBron? AD hasn't been there, and when he does, he doesn't stay inside. He plays the outside like a fucking guard. So we can't sit here and talk about LeBron's defensive inefficiency after 20 years of being one of the top defenders in the league. Come on. And we all know this about the NBA. Individual defensive effort only goes so far, right? You tire yourself out. You have to play good team defense, and the Lakers didn't do that.
Looks like there's give me the info to call in. Ryan wants in on this nonsense. All right, hold on, Ryan. You'll get your clout right now, dude. Hold on 1 second. Remember, we don't have the producer right now, so things take a little longer. Command V, and then we're going to hit return, and there is your number to call, 1-800-SHOP-SPORTS. Now, just click that link, and you're more than welcome to come on in and debate, because that's what we do here. It's interactive. So this list has obviously gone off the rails, and people just don't agree with any of it.
LeBron hasn't been a top defender since like 2013. Kyle, you're very big on like individual defensive statistics and like his play. But what about the LeBron's teams? Like, how is his teams that he's played for? How is their defensive been typically? I think that the LeBron-led teams have always been good defensively.
He's saying that you're using accomplishments from years ago to justify your list right now, is what you're doing. Is he wrong?
But my point being is that if we're talking about a redraft, right? A redraft, and we're only going into next year, I don't give a fuck. Some of that stuff does matter to me, like what they've done in the league. Jimmy Butler is doing really well now, but if he was eliminated in the last series, or if he gets eliminated by the Celtics, then what has he done? How many titles does he have? How many All-NBA first teams does he have? How many All-NBA second teams does he have?
We have a caller.